No one knew why a woman in a silk suit was lying motionless in a dark alley behind 6th Street. They only knew that blood had soaked into the cold concrete, and her eyes were still open, staring into the void as if waiting for someone to come, but with no hope left. Jennifer Preston had once been the symbol of success, the youngest female CEO in tech, a familiar face on the cover of Forbes, the woman who built an empire with her own hands. But that empire couldn't save her on that rainy night when two men shoved her against a wall, tore her purse away, and raised a metal pipe like she was nothing. On the other side of the city, people still called her a genius, a queen. But in this alley, she was just a body, an expensive woman in a place where no one asked for names. Behind a dumpster, a child held his breath. Malik, 11 years old, dark-skinned, skinny, with a scar arching over his left eyebrow like an unanswered question. No one knew he lived there, no one asked if he was hungry, and he had long stopped waiting for anyone to ask. But when Jennifer's eyes met his, even for just a second, through the rain-matted hair, through pain, through fear, Malik couldn't look away. He waited until the two men disappeared into the shadows, laughing, one of them swinging the bloodied pipe like they'd won something. Then he ran to her. Jennifer was struggling to breathe, blood at the corner of her lips, hands trembling. Malik pulled a cracked flip phone from the pocket of his old jacket. "I'm gonna call someone. Don't fall asleep, okay?" A cold hand gripped his wrist. Her voice was hoarse, like wind slipping through a broken doorframe. "You're the first one who didn't walk away." Malik didn't answer, just swallowed hard as she whispered something else, something that cracked him open. "I hope my son has a heart like yours." Malik didn't wait around for a thank you. When the sirens echoed from the end of the block, he was already gone, swallowed up by the rain, the night, and a city that never noticed kids like him. That's how he survived. No names, no attention, no one to remember him, and no one trying to. Jennifer woke up in a hospital room 2 days later. The walls were white, the lights were too bright. Her head pounded and every breath felt like broken glass. "You have 2 cracked ribs and a mild head injury," the nurse told her gently. "You lost quite a bit of blood, but you're going to be okay." But okay didn't feel like the right word. Not with the memory still fresh, those dark alley walls, the metal pipe, and the boy's eyes. "The boy," she whispered. "Where is he?" The nurse blinked. "What boy?" "The one who called for help. He stayed. He saved me." The nurse shook her head. "There's no mention of anyone else. You were alone when they found you." The police showed her the security footage, the men, the violence, the way she collapsed. But no sign of the boy, just a glimpse of motion at the edge of the frame and then nothing, like he'd never been there at all. Jennifer kept repeating the same words. He didn't walk away. She refused all visitors, ignored every message from her office, turned off her phone and shut out the world. Not because she was hiding, but because something inside her had cracked wide open. She couldn't stop thinking about his face, so young, so steady, like he'd seen too much but still chose to help. 2 weeks after leaving the hospital, Jennifer didn't return to her glass-walled penthouse. Instead, she told her driver to take her anywhere the lost might be: youth shelters, soup kitchens, drop-in centers. Every day she walked among them. No one recognized her. Without makeup and a thrift store coat, she looked like any other volunteer. And that was exactly how she wanted it. She didn't know the boy's name, didn't even know what she was really looking for. Just a scar. A look in the eyes that had stayed with her long after the bruises faded. She sat quietly, watched, waited, learned which kids kept their heads down, which ones flinched at kindness. And she waited not to save anyone, but just to find him again. And then one evening, beneath the 7th Street overpass, she saw him, curled up beside a rusted shopping cart, arms wrapped tight around an old jacket, one shoe torn open at the toe. Jennifer stepped out of the car, carefully, slowly, like approaching something sacred. "It's you," she said, almost in a breath. Malik sat up, startled. "I didn't take anything," he said, quickly stepping back. "No," she said softly, raising her hands. "You gave me everything." He squinted, suspicious. "Why are you here?" She knelt down, rain soaking the hem of her jeans. "Because I haven't stopped thinking about you," she said. "Not just because you helped me, but because you changed something in me. And I think I owe you more than my life." After that, she kept coming back. Some days with food, some with blankets. Some days just a folding chair she'd set beside him, no words, no pressure, just presence. Malik didn't trust easily, but she never rushed him. She didn't talk about changing his life. She just showed up. Rain or cold, she came. And over time, little by little, Malik started to believe not in promises, but in the fact that someone finally stayed. Malik never asked who she really was. He knew the name Jennifer Preston, everyone did, but he never used it. At first he called her that lady, then her. Then, one afternoon over a bowl of chicken soup in a paper cup, he asked quietly, "Can I call you Miss Jen?" She laughed, the first real laugh in months. "Only if I can call you kiddo." There was never a formal arrangement between them. She didn't promise him the world. She just gave him a safe place to stay, a small group home she funded quietly, tucked in a quiet part of the city. Tutors came by. So did volunteers. Malik started learning again. Not because she pushed, but because for once someone believed he could. And then one night, as they sat on the porch outside the shelter under a string of dim bulbs swaying in the breeze, Malik lowered his spoon and asked, "Why are you really helping me? Not the rescue stuff. I mean now. Why still?" Jennifer was quiet for a long time. Then she spoke, her voice lower than usual, "Because at the lowest point in my life, when I had nothing but blood in my mouth and fear in my chest, you didn't walk away." Malik nodded. He'd heard her say that before, but tonight it felt like there was more behind it. And there was. Jennifer looked out into the dark parking lot as if searching for something she wasn't ready to name. "I had a son," she said finally. "Still have one, Ethan." It was the first time she'd ever said his name out loud since he left. "I gave him everything except the one thing he really needed, me." Her voice didn't shake, but her eyes went distant, like reading something she wished she could rewrite. "I bought him the best schools, private tutors, a car for his 18th birthday, but I wasn't there. Not really." She paused. 2 years ago he left, moved abroad, changed his number, left a note behind. Malik didn't say anything, he just listened. Jennifer's fingers curled slightly around the mug in her hands. He wrote, "I don't want your money, I want a mother, and if you've never been one, don't pretend to start now." Silence settled between them, the kind that didn't need filling. Malik looked down at his hands, at the scars on his knuckles, the dirt that never quite washed out. He spoke quietly. "I don't have a mom, not really. I wrote a note once too, but no one read it." Jennifer turned to him, wanting to reach out, but she didn't. Instead, she rested her hand on her lap. "Maybe," she said softly, "we've both been looking for someone, without realizing they're sitting right beside us." That sentence didn't ask for a response. It just hung there, gentle, weighty, true. Months later, Jennifer stood in a courtroom under fluorescent lights, recounting the attack from that night. Not for pity, not for attention, but for justice. With the help of private investigators and her own resources, the 2 men had been tracked down. One caught trying to flee the country, the other arrested on unrelated charges, but the same metal pipe was still in his possession. Jennifer didn't tremble on the stand. When asked why she pursued the case so relentlessly, she answered plainly, "Because boys like Malik deserve to live in a world where men like that are held accountable." In the back row, Malik sat quietly. White shirt, neatly pressed pants, back straight, eyes wet but not blinking. When she stepped down, she didn't smile. She didn't need to. She had said what needed saying. And finally, someone had listened. 2 years later, at a youth summit funded by the New Chances Foundation, a teenage boy stepped up to the microphone. His shirt was clean, his slacks neatly pressed. He looked calm, focused. A faint scar still curved above his eyebrow, no longer sharp, but still there. "My name is Malik," he began. "There was a time I slept behind dumpsters. A time I didn't matter. Not to the city, not to the system, not to anyone." The room grew still. "I didn't ask for much," he continued. "Just to be seen. Just once." In the front row, Jennifer sat quietly. She wore no makeup, just a soft sweater and a bracelet on her wrist, a simple band Malik had made from twine with the words, "Don't walk away," scratched into a wooden bead. One night Malik said, "I helped someone," and she didn't forget. She came back, not with promises, not with speeches, just herself. He paused. She saw me, and that changed everything. Jennifer blinked back tears, not from sadness, but from something quieter. Pride, maybe, or healing. "Now I want to be that person," Malik said, "for kids like me. Because no one stays invisible forever. Not if just one person decides to stay." The room filled with applause, but Jennifer didn't stand. She just placed a hand gently over her heart. Not to steady herself, but to feel it beating again because of a boy who once lived in shadows, and now stood in the light. That night, Malik didn't ride in any black car. He walked home beside her under quiet streetlights and low-hanging trees. "You were amazing up there," Jennifer said softly. Malik smiled. "Did you cry?" She gave him a look, not a lot. Then added, "Not as much as when you first called me Mom." He didn't answer right away. But after a few more steps, he said almost like a whisper, "You are my mom, not because you had to be, but because you didn't leave. Jennifer didn't reply. She didn't need to. She just reached for his hand and held it. Because sometimes to love someone is simply to stay,